Hi class, welcome to week 14. Wow, you are almost done. This week I'm going to talk about your last speech. This is a fun one. It's short, it's fun, it's creative, it's special occasion speaking. This speech won't be due until week 15, but you'll have the entire week this week to start thinking about what you might want to do. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, and this relates to chapter 17, so make sure you read chapter 17 before starting the process of getting this speech put together. But right now I'm going to talk about what is the creative process of special occasion speaking. Then after that brief example, I'm going to talk about the different types that you can choose from. So just like the other speeches that you did in this class, you will still need to do some research for this speech. So think about how you're going to start. The first thing you're going to do, which I'm going to talk about next, what type of special occasion speech. There are many types you can choose from. Then you might have to do some research before you create it. Practice it, obviously, and then present it, and then listen and evaluate your speech. So a lot of the creative process is similar to the other speeches you've done in our class. So what are special occasion speeches? Well, let's go back to what the general purpose is of this speech. The general purpose of a special occasion speech is either to celebrate, commemorate, inspire, or entertain. So first, speeches that celebrate. These can honor or highlight a person, group, institution, place, or even an event. They're appropriate for, weddings, a best man speech, maid of honor speech, anniversaries, retirements, birthdays. So if you think you might want to do something like that, maybe you've done one of these in the past and you'd like to use it, this might be a good choice for you. So you want to think about when you're celebrating, you should be praising the subject and adhering to the expected customs depending on what type you are going to be doing. In this week's lectures and readings, I'm going to show you what I think is probably one of the best commemoration speeches out there. It's J.K. Rowling's Harvard commencement speech. So definitely look at that if you were planning on doing a commemoration speech. So what's a commemoration speech? You're paying tribute to an event like a graduation, like J.K. Rowling does. A person, a group, and this resides more, in the past or future. And the speeches focus, on touching the audience emotionally. Another thing you want to think about with speeches of commemoration, if you're doing a commemoration, and J.K. Rowling does this very well, you want to put yourself into the speech. Explain why you are capable of giving the speech. What have you overcome to make you the perfect person for this commemoration? Speeches that inspire, these are very, very pathos heavy. So you want to think about that if you're doing a speech of inspiration. They're set out to motivate, to encourage, to spur emotions in our audience. And this can also include a commencement, keynotes, inaugural speeches, sermons. Remember, the audience is the main consideration of these speeches. You also have speeches to entertain. They're fun. You have the general goals to amuse, delight, engage your audience. These are, roasts. If you've seen the Comedy Central roasts, they're definitely to entertain. Award ceremonies, banquets. These are playful, cheerful, light, and optimistic. So now that you know the general purposes of these types of speeches, I'm going to talk briefly about how do you write a special occasion speech. So the first thing you want to do, and again, even though these speeches are shorter, only 4 to 6 minutes, you still want to treat this like the informative and persuasive speech. The first thing you do is determine the purpose and type of your speech. So these are the questions you want to ask yourself. What is the purpose of the event? This is extremely important. Remember, it's an occasion. What is the purpose of this occasion? What are the requirements of the event? What are you expected to say? And then go back to what I just said earlier. Should this be a speech to celebrate, commemorate, inspire, or entertain? Then, just like your other speeches, you're going to analyze the audience and the situation. Again, this is very important in special occasion speaking. Who is the audience? Where are you speaking? Are you doing a speech of introduction? Are you introducing someone? Is someone introducing you? And how long? You know how long. This is a shorter speech than the last speech you did. Then you want to focus on the central idea. This is important. Even though this is a special occasion speech, you still have a thesis statement. Now remember, shorter speeches will have more of a theme than a central idea. Longer speeches, you're going to have main points, a working outline. I will not be seeing the outline for this speech. That's very important to remember. There is no outline due. This is a fun speech to end the semester. That being said, though, you still want to have a working outline that you will use for yourself. Even though I'm not grading your outline, you still want to put an outline together. This is still a formal speech. Then, depending on the type of speech, your research may be personally reflective. Maybe you need to research the history of an award and its recipient. So consider special issues and material needed for your speech. So some questions you want to ask yourself regarding your speech include, are there special issues that require detailed understanding? What materials might you need to locate related to your topic? And finally, what materials related to your audience might you need? So then you want to create your outline. Again, I'm not seeing your outline, but that doesn't mean you still don't need an outline. I'll definitely be able to tell if you don't have an outline for this speech. Even the shortest special occasion speeches contain an introduction, body, and conclusion. That being said, though, they may be condensed. So, usually special occasion speeches use one of the following patterns: chronological, topical, spatial, or comparative. These are the most common types of patterns for special occasion speeches. Then you want to practice your speech. Now, I want to do some clarification. Your book states that these may be extemporaneous or manuscript. That is in the real world. I understand that. I will be grading you on extemporaneous speaking. So even though your text says that these could be manuscript, I will still be grading on extemporaneous. So that being said, you want to rehearse this several times. You don't want to be reading. In the real world, yes, people read special occasion speeches. In this classroom, though, I will be grading on extemporaneous speaking. So, and then you still want to, evaluate the special occasion. Be sure you have covered the speech's necessary parts. Be sure you've crafted the appropriate organization. And it's very important to be sensitive to the audience, topic, or occasion. All right, so now you know all the different purposes of special occasion speeches. What type can you choose? I would like you to choose one of these for your final speech. The first thing you could do is either a toast or a roast. If you're roasting someone, I would say keep it PG-13, okay? I know some roasts can get a little inappropriate, so you want to keep this PG-13 for your audience. A toast, it's a ritual expressing honor or goodwill to a person, institution, group, or event that is punctuated by taking a drink. A roast is a humorous tribute to a person. So you could choose one of these types for your special occasion speech. I'm not going to go over everything on the slide, but this is what you want to think about if you're doing a toast or a roast. Speeches of introduction. A speech of introduction presents to the audience an event's next or main speaker. The speech may welcome the audience, establish the tone, the mood or climate, and build a level of excitement. So this is another type of special occasion speech you can do. Another one that is very common, this is probably the one I get the most, a speech of award presentation. Speeches of award presentation are when you are asked to be the individual announcing the recipient of an award, prize, or honor. So in the lectures and readings, I put a link from the King's Speech. This shows a speech of introduction by Anne Hathaway, a speech of award presentation by Sandra Bullock, and then the next one, a speech of award acceptance by Colin Firth. So for a speech of acceptance, this is another one you can do. You're receiving an award, prize, or honor. So you want to make this award, that you're accepting meaningful to the audience, and obviously know when to stop. Remember, 4 to 6 minutes. You don't want to go on forever. Something you want to think about, your people that accept awards are prepared. Never say, oh, I had no idea. I have nothing prepared. Don't do that. Be respectful, humble, heartfelt. Again, strong pathos. If you're going to choose this one as your special occasion speech, show emotion, pride. Thank those in your family and friends who contributed to this award. Another one you can do in here is a eulogy or tribute. Eulogies are presented upon a person's death. A tribute commemorates lives or accomplishments. If you want to do a eulogy, you can do this on a person, like a famous person. When I taught speech a few years ago, I think about 3 years ago, I taught speech when Robin Williams died, and I had a lot of eulogies about him. So you don't have to do a eulogy of a person you know. You can do it on a famous person who has passed away. Tributes, they commemorate the lives, accomplishments of people, group, institutions, events. Another great type of speech you can do for this final speech in our class. Speeches of inspiration. The general purpose is to motivate, encourage, move, or arouse an audience in a positive manner. The success of this speech is rooted in the speaker's ethos and his or her appeals to pathos. That's a very important thing to think about. So you want to select a topic, theme, or subject that reflects the expectation, mood, and tone of the speaking event. Finally, the last type of speech you can choose is called an after-dinner speech. The general purpose is to entertain, but you're still doing this with a relevant message. Now, they call it after-dinner speeches. Doesn't have to be given after dinner. That's just a type of speech. For this speech, you want to, obviously prep early, tailor it to the occasion that you're choosing. This has a lot of focus and structure, but you're still entertaining, so you need to be dynamic and cheerful. Okay, so now that you know the general purpose of your last speech and the types that you want to choose, now you want to think about it. What type do you want to do? Have fun with this speech. It's almost like you're playing a part. You're playing a role made up. So again, start planning your speech, read chapter 17, look at the videos, my lecture notes that I put in the lectures and readings, and then as always, feel free to ask me any questions you might have.